Good evening, everyone. Welcome to AECC webinar today. My name is Koo. I'm the country head of AECC Global Malaysia for Malaysia and Singapore. And today I have an honor to have our guest speaker today, Chris. Chris is from Cranfield University, and our topic today will be covering MBA program. And of course, it's very hard to get an alumni to join us, and we have Zhu. Zhu should be on my right, if on my screen. So Zhu is actually the alumni of Cranfield. She's currently working with a bank at Amsterdam. So later on, Chris will be having a interesting dialogue with Zhu about her experience while she's studying at Cranfield. So let's wait for one more minute for more people to join us. So there is, let's do a bit of housekeeping. So there is a chat box and a Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. So if you have any questions, please put your question on the Q&A box, and I'll pick up your question along the way and ask Chris or Zhu, whoever is more relevant to the questions. Yeah, so because I can't see you, you'll be good for attendees. Can you please type 1 if you can hear me well before I start? Attendees, yes, oh, great, thank you. Good evening, yeah, and good morning to Chris. It's still a very early morning for you. We have attendees from Malaysia and Indonesia today. So, thank you for coming. Hope you have your dinner ready. And without further ado, I will pass the mic to Chris, and Chris will be sharing a few slides about MBA program. And along the way, please do feel free to drop in your questions, and we will answer you accordingly. And I do have some questions on behalf of some of my students as well, so I'll be asking Chris and Zhu as well. So Chris, over to you. You may share.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'll first start saying thank you for having us this evening. We're delighted to be here and to tell everybody about the Cranfield MBA. As you mentioned, we're really lucky because we have one of our really talented alumni here, and we have Zhu, who's from Malaysia, one of our best students, one of our favorite students who made a huge contribution to the program while she was at Cranfield. So she'll be able to join me, and you're very lucky, guys, to have her answer your questions. So please stop us at any time. We look forward to talking with you. Right, let me share my slides with you so that we can quickly go through what the program actually looks like.
Yes,
I hope you can see them.
Yes, I do.
Okay, right. So my job today is to, first of all, give you a flavor for what is Cranfield University, what is the School of Management, and then introduce you to the program. And then we'll make this session interactive so we can answer all of your questions. So as I said, first thing, if you want to make sure that you find out about the Cranfield MBA to find out whether the program is right for you, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about Cranfield, what we look for in our students, because this is really important. And as I said, you have an opportunity to speak to Zhu, so please make sure you pass her your questions. So Cranfield University is a postgraduate only university, the only university in the UK that only teaches postgraduate programs and above. We are known throughout the world as we are renowned to be experts in leadership development. And we are also known for our powerful industry links and our focus on the real world, which means that everything that we teach at Cranfield is supposed to allow our students, when they return to industry, to do their job much better than they were doing it today. We only concentrate on content that is applicable and produces new solutions to business problems. We are a School of Management, which then means we teach about the practice of management, transforming the practice of management rather than the theory of business. And this is really, really important to let you understand our philosophy and our approach to our studies. Just to give you an understanding, give you some numbers for those that like numbers. we work with about 1,500 businesses, and we work in 40 countries simultaneously every year. We're one of a handful of schools that are treble accredited by AECC, which is a US accreditation body, AMBA, which is UK based, and EQUIS, which is European. We train about 2,800 learner managers every year at Camp Cranfield, and we have a professional network of alumni of 69,000 alumni in 169 countries. So we are completely global with a network, and perhaps later on, Zoe will be able to tell you a little bit more from her, what it's like from her experience of being an alumna. So you need to understand that many people come to Cranfield to do an MBA for generally 3 different reasons. They want to accelerate a career, they want to have a complete career change, or they want to start their own business. And through the years, we often see these are the main motivations. We also see, as we have seen with Zoe, people, come to Cranfield and then they get a job somewhere else. Not only they progress the career, not only they find opportunities, whether the same industry or not, with other interesting organizations, but they're also able to find jobs in countries other than the country they came from or the UK. If this is one of your ambitions, please be reassured this is absolutely possible. Decisions you need to make when you are choosing an MBA program. One of the first decisions is absolutely the duration. There are many different MBA programs available. The Cranfield MBA is only 1 year. We believe this is the best time for an MBA program to be 1 year long, because we want to make sure that you get all of the wonderful MBA experience, all of the learning and the new skills and the new leadership behaviors and all of the knowledge that you gain, but you are able to return to industry as quickly as possible. This, of course, has many important considerations that are also based on finances. You will only be out of work for a year. So for many of our experienced managers that join an MBA, this is why they've chosen also the program. The program is delivered full time, and fingers crossed from September, we should be able to return to campus. And it's a single campus university. All of your studies will be completed on campus. We'll come to later. Sometimes you'll have the opportunity to take part in competitions, which will take you outside of Cranfield. But all of the program delivery will be on campus. Quickly, I will share with you what we are looking for from the candidates that join us. There are some things that are really important to us because of our approach and because of how you teach. One thing is understanding the importance of leadership and business success. Understanding that success is highly dependent on how you work with other people. So working with others, leading others is very much at the base of everything that we teach. That you are emotionally mature, and that is all about being open to receiving feedback from your colleagues, and also being mature enough to be able to give good feedback, which then allows to maximize your learning and the learning of your colleagues as you learn together. And we have a 360 approach to feedback, which means that the feedback comes from the people you learn with, it comes from faculty, it comes from just about everyone that you interact with. And this is really fundamental to helping you develop your leadership potential. In terms of admissions requirements, we need people that have at least 3 years postgraduate work experience. We also have a Cranfield online admission test for those that don't want to take Gmat. If you want to take the Gmat, the minimum score is 600. And then, of course, if English is not your first language, we need you to complete an IELTS For some countries who prefer to do TOEFL, we also accept TOEFL. For IELTS is a balance score of 7.0. Right, the program. The program starts with what we call orientation week. This is the time where the students from the year that has just finished return to Cranfield and prepare the students for an exciting year ahead. And Zu, you went through this process when you joined us. Would you be happy to share a little bit about your experience of the orientation week?
Yeah, sure. So if I remember correctly, it's a week of orientation. So it's the first time you're gonna be meeting your classmates. And I don't know about other MBA programs, but in Cranfield for semester 1 and 2, they assign where you sit. So that's when you'll find out where you sit. So who's gonna be your neighbor for at least one term. And then we also have learning teams. So in term 1, you will work with this learning team the whole time. So that's when you'll meet them. So there'll be a few group activities, but then there will be also lecturers that will come in to introduce themselves, to give you a bit of feedback of what you're going to be able to expect for the MBA course. But also mostly it's just introducing you to the camp, to the course itself, and then meeting your classmates who you're going to be with for the next year.
Fantastic, thank you, Zee. And as I'm sure you'll confirm that the first 2 parts of the program are really intense. So term 1 and 2, you guys complete quite a lot of content, but also I believe you now take part in competition like the venture capital investment competition, which is, I would say, it's mainly for people that want to start their own business or launch their own business following the MBA. But I believe a lot of people take part who don't have that ambition, but it's really important for them to learn what it's like to run a business and what it's like to start a business, to get funding, and to progress that. But yes, terms 1 and 2 are really, really important, because this is where the majority of the core modules are completed. And this is where you complete the you start building your general management view of what are the different departments, what are the different functions within the business, what are their priorities, how important it is to consider different perspectives when we're looking at a problem. As you progress through the program, you have to think about, is it really just an HR issue? Is it just really a finance issue? Where really is the problem? And, often enough, we realize that actually it's a combination. And therefore, this part is really designed to give you an understanding to understand how they see the different function, how they see their world, in order that as you progress through your career, you can take that into consideration. And when you are presenting a solution, you take, a multitude of views into consideration before you make an exact, or as exact as you can make, recommendation for change. In parts 3 and 4, this is where you have an opportunity to select the modules that are more interesting to you. Whether you want to progress in the world of finance, there are a number of finance specific modules. Whether you want to start your own business, you can concentrate on the entrepreneurship side, or whether you want to, for example, to go into more general management, or that there are quite a number of modules around strategy, delivery strategy, and also things like supply chain and how to implement your mergers and acquisition. There's quite a lot of content there available. But because of the fact that you select different modules from that not everybody completes, you will have an opportunity to work with people perhaps that you haven't had an opportunity to work with before. Am I right, Zu? You get to work with the team the first part of the program, terms 1 and 2, and then work with others.
Yeah. So by term 3 and 4, obviously not everyone's going to be in the same class as you. So yeah, you work with new teammates, but you'll know them throughout the year anyways, because you'll be stuck with them most of your classes in term 1, term 2, so you have like quite a bond with each other, and then you sort of like separate in term 3 and term 4.
Zhu, cool here. Will you be able to explain a little bit more about Leadership Week? Because I see that in number 2.
Yeah. So Leadership Week, we had lectures as usual. So we have a lot of our lecturers come from the industry itself. So they come in and then they discuss. One of the classes we have is actually what is leadership, the history behind leadership. But then we will also have activities where one of it was we had to do a clay mask of our face, and then we painted them, and then we had a presentation of what those masks mean to us, the colors you decorate it and everything. Yeah, so it's both lectures and group activities that you do, but more on developing yourself as a leader, and how you can lead within a team, within an organization, and leading yourself as well.
And what is it about the Vcic competition? Because that's a compulsory module. So is there a group of 2 or 5 of the classmates and you do it together?
So Vcic is a competition of, it's an entrepreneurial competition. So I think it's in a group of 4. I don't remember, Chris, but
yeah, I think it's 4 people.
Yeah. And then I think you present a company to investors. So you have a mock company, and then you will present from a financial part why you think this company will be profitable, how you value the company, and then the strategy of the company itself, the marketing parts of it. Yeah, so you go in and present this company, and then if you win this competition, you then move on to the next level. So that's what it's about. So it will start from your entrepreneurship course, and then whoever who have done well in the course, usually they then move on to the competition. So it's not a Vcic, it's not a class, it's a competition actually.
Okay, that's interesting. Carry on, ladies.
Yeah, and also we're competing against other business schools, and we often host a competition at Cranfield. In fact, if you visit our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see on our YouTube channel, School of Management, we recorded a video for one of the last competitions we hosted, but it gives you a flavor of what the day actually looks like. And yeah, so it's a really exciting day. And also we have real organizations and real judges that work as entrepreneurs able to join us and be the judges for who's doing better and which businesses are being presented, evaluation, everything else. But if you want to start a business, that's a great preparation for obtaining funding for your business when it comes down to it. Another thing that I wanted to, Azu, if it's okay, I'll pass to you again, is the international business assignment, which is also, we hope so much we'll be able to resume from next year. And this is when we travel abroad, our students travel abroad for a week and have basically applied their knowledge in an international context. So would you like to share your experience of the international business assignment?
Yeah, so during our year, we had 4 different countries that we could choose from. So it was Japan, China, Sri Lanka, and Zambia. So I chose Zambia because I've never been to an African country. So in Zambia, we had the opportunity to work with small businesses over there. So I worked with a fashion company, and then we worked as consultants. So it was myself and 2 other colleagues. So yeah, so we came in to help them on maybe how they can improve their business, and it's things that we don't realize. So obviously in Zambia, internet is difficult. So we realized they were a fashion company, but they didn't have any social media presence. So what we did was we helped them with their financials. So we looked at their financials. We saw where probably they were they had like higher expenses. And then we gave them advice on maybe how they can reduce their cost to increase their profit. And then we also prepared a marketing strategy for them. So all these marketing steps that they can take to improve their business, and also a governance step. So the governance part of the report was prepared by my EMBA colleague who had a military background. So obviously they are very organized. So he used that part of his background to help them create processes that can help make their business more efficient as well. So you do that for a week, and then after 1 week, you present your findings and your report and everything. And then we went to Livingston, and it was just a fun time with your classmates exploring around Zambia.
Fantastic. Thank you, Zu, because, you know, it's really, really important. I mean, this slide looks really just about courses and just about the academics. And I think that's fantastic that we have Zu, because Zu can add a little bit of extra information about the fact that this is an academic program. It is really demanding, and it will stretch you, and, you know, it will require a lot of your concentration and your time for a year. But actually, there are lots of opportunities for our students to also have some fun, to get to know each other, and develop friendships, really, that last, you know, for a lifetime. I often look at social media channels, and then I see people traveling to different locations, especially before COVID. Somebody was getting married and everybody be traveling, or we've had pictures during the year of different events. And, you know, it's so fantastic to see the pictures of our students through the year, what they're getting up to, and the wonderful experience they have beyond just the academics.
Yeah, if I may add, Chris, so
Please.
it's not just academics. So Cranfield MBA, like for me, for example, do you remember we went to HEC Paris because there was like this sport competition? So HEC Paris organizes it, and it's basically like sports day, but it's business schools all around Europe that comes, and then you go, you know, you have like your football competition, your swimming competition. I joined Battle of the Bands. I don't sing, but why not? And then I joined a singing competition. Yeah, so that's over the weekend. We took a bus from Cranfield, went to Paris. And then so we met people from other businesses school. And then in our year, we also organized the regatta. So we had the sailing event. So it was 2 days. Again, we sail, and I've never lived on a sailboat before, so that was quite an experience as well. And then obviously, as you know, IBA, so then we travel outside of UK, but also we have our Christmas parties, and obviously the last one will be the year-end party. And then we had friends from Uruguay who came, Uruguay University MBA program, so we spent a week with them, and friends from University of Kyoto who came. Yeah, so it's not just the studies that you're going to be busy with, but your social life is going to be quite busy as well as an MBA student.
Right. Zu, I have a question from the attendee. How do you cope with the learning group for assignment? Can you share some of your experience?
Is it interacting with others or the assignments itself?
Probably maybe interacting with others. How do you find, because people be coming from different walks of life, different country, different culture. So how do you cope with your group mates?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the important thing is you need to understand the MBA program is designed to be very diverse. You know, people from all sorts of countries, all sorts of cultures. So you just have to be very open to understanding others. And of course, during term one, especially, you're going to be under a lot of stress. So there might be times when you might butt heads, but again, you just have to accept that we are all human. We might disagree, but the main thing is that you know you are there because you want to complete your assignment. So yeah, just being understanding, being open, and yeah, being tolerant to one another.
And am I right in adding that actually sometimes it's really useful to have a learning team, because having just completed my executive MBA, I can see from my side, having worked in a learning team, there were times where I really wasn't an expert about a particular subject. So having somebody within the team who had that kind of expertise, as you mentioned earlier, during your IBA, you had somebody from military who was able to take care of some parts of the assignment. It's useful to have somebody outside of the classroom that is able to go through some of the content and describe some of the things that you might have missed or other things that are important, or to lead a particular project when that is not your either favorite subject or your particular strength. So to be able to work with people that are experts in their field already certainly adds to the learning experience. It certainly added to my learning experience. I learned quite a lot from the people that I work with. And also in business, sometimes not everybody agrees. So if we are to prepare our students for a real case leadership when they move into organization where they're working for people with different functions in different countries, this is the perfect preparation for that, because our students become experts are working with people that see the world in a very different way and have different talents, different capabilities and different perspectives. So in fact, we're just going to quickly add at the bottom, you'll see leadership modules. Actually, the leadership development part that is really fundamental to the program happens throughout the year, right, Zu? Throughout the year is not something you do at the end. The leadership modules are integrated, intertwined throughout your one-year experience.
Yeah, correct. And then we start with organizational behavior, OBDL, and that one, for me, I think that was one of my favorite ones in the MBA. So in that program, you will do a lot of quizzes because we want to find out your Myers-Briggs personality, your personality when you work within a team, what motivates you, how resilient are you. And so at this part in term one, it's a lot of you getting to know yourself as a person, as a leader, what ticks you, what inspires you, and then you sort of like bring it along. And then by term four, you really sort of understand how you work as a person, how you work as a team. And so leadership, whenever we hear it, we think, oh, it's how I lead a team, but also leadership also means you leading yourself within a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are lots of theories. I don't know if you guys read the Art of War during your program. I mean, it's about leadership in a military environment, but basically that if it boils down to one of the messages, if you know yourself and you know others, then you need not fear anything, because as a leader, you need to be really good at understanding yourself, your capabilities, your strengths and weaknesses, and that allows you to work better with others, understanding how you can leverage their strengths and weaknesses, and work better together. So it's about learning yourself, learning the people that you are working with to become better leaders, better managers of situations, but also greater collaborators and greater communicators as well, because communication and collaboration are fundamental to any kind of leadership.
Yeah, also maybe Chris, I wanted to add, so for me, well, coming from more of an Asian background, we don't like to speak so much. And so when I first started the program, I was a bit more nervous whenever we would have case studies and everything. But then somehow throughout the course, you also will find your voice almost, because you too want your voice to be heard. You want to influence others. And so I think after that 1-year course, now you can see me here on a Zoom call. I don't think that would have happened before.
And thank God, because otherwise we wouldn't have your perspective and we wouldn't have had. So really, it's about also. Then would you say, so having that knowledge also gives you greater confidence?
Definitely. So during our MBA program, we'll also have coaching. So we'll have an executive coach as well who will work with us. And the last thing that he told me in our last session was like, so I was asking for feedback and how I've changed. And the thing that he said that he also noticed was my self-confidence. So when I came into the program, I was always unsure. And I think it was because I didn't know who I was as a person. But at the end of the program, I understood me and I sort of found my voice. And so he also mentioned that my self-confidence then became a lot different than how I started the program.
Absolutely. And that's fantastic. So throughout, you learn really what value you bring, what how you add value to your team, how do you add value to the organization, which then is fundamental to your success, to your career success, as well as to your ability to enjoy what you do a lot more, I suspect. I mean, that's really important. So the leadership modules, and also the executive coaching and career development, working with the careers department, really happens throughout the program. And I believe there is also a day with the career development team that you work on tests, preparation for, for the testing you will be doing if you want to join the big consultancy organization following your studies. So there is a lot of preparation on how to develop your CV, how to think about your career in the midterm, not just your first steps perhaps, but also what you want to do as eventually, and where do you want to end up, and the steps you have to take in order to get there. So there's actually quite a lot of support. So you'll see in the first part is all really much about the knowledge and the application of the management and business capabilities. There is the leadership development intertwined throughout the program, but also there's the support from the executive coaching and the career development team to then obviously make sure that you achieve your career objectives. So just to quickly summarize a little bit of the financials as well. The program cost is 39,000, but we have quite a lot of scholarships and bursaries that are available. So please visit our website, find out what scholarship you are most likely to be considered for, and whenever possible, make your case for that scholarship. As you'll have seen, is an integration of core modules and electives. There is an international business assignment. Fingers crossed we will be able to return to that for next year. And also, as we heard from Zoo, perfectly articulated for us, there's also a lot of extracurricular opportunities, startup weekend for those who want to launch their own businesses, the opportunity to compete on different kinds of sports or singing competitions with colleagues, I should say, in Paris. There is a regatta, there's other competitions. And also there's an opportunity to do an independent project for those that want to work in a particular industry or a company to do an independent project that will be able to then allow you to demonstrate your understanding, your capabilities applied to a particular industry or organization. Right, this is, I don't know, Leigh, whether you want to tell everybody where Cranfield is. Otherwise, I'm more than happy to. Here we go, Leigh, over to you.
All right, okay. Cranfield is very, very close to London. From London, you look at north, is 35 minutes by train from London to Milton Keynes. And after that, from Milton Keynes, you can take a bus to Cranfield, and that will take you about 30 minutes. There's a bus stop inside the campus, which you can take the bus directly from Cranfield, from the university to London, and the bus ride will take about an hour. So over to you.
Thank you. Another thing that I haven't mentioned, but I think is really important to tell you, we are right in the middle between Oxford and Cambridge as well. And I'm sure, our students do travel to both locations when there are students with us. And another thing that I've recently found out is that we are also home to 77,000 small businesses in the Southeast Midlands region. So for those who are thinking about also work, following their MBA, finding employment in the local region as well, or starting their own businesses, this is a real fertile ground for doing that. The region has the highest employment rate after London. So it's really, really important to know that. I think it's something like 78% employment, so which is fantastic. One other thing that I wanted to mention, as we have Zoo with us, it's important that I never really cover when I go through the presentation, is that we have on-campus accommodation, and a lot of our students stay on campus. It's a very compact campus, very green. it is a little bit countryside, but luckily Oxford and Cambridge are nearby, but also obviously Milton Keynes and Bedford, as Lay mentioned. Zoe, you stayed on campus during your time on the MBA. Would you be happy to share your experience of living at Cranfield?
Yeah, so I live in Mitchell Hall, so that's a catered hall. So at least, you know, you're not worried about cooking, because when you're busy, at least food is covered. But the best part, it's about 5 minutes away from the faculty, so you're not rushing in the morning. Yeah, so it is quiet, but I think it's conducive to learning. It's very peaceful over there. But we do have pubs. We have I don't remember the names anymore, but we have 2 pubs, and then, you know, Friday nights, our CSA, we do have activities. But I also had a lot of classmates who lived on campus as well, so we would hang out at each other's place and stuff. But in terms of it being quiet, for me personally, I really liked it, because it was really, there was not a lot of distraction.
So how often do you travel to Birmingham or London?
When I had interviews during my job search, I would go quite often, but term 1 and term 2, I didn't travel as much, just because we were so busy.
Agree.
And also there's lots of businesses that come to Cranfield as well, which is one of the other things that I didn't mention. We do a lot of consultancy projects. We do lots of short programs for businesses. And we also, from a career perspective, we invite businesses to present to our students. So they come to Cranfield. So yes, generally notice over the years that term 1 and 2, our students are really, really busy getting through the huge amount of work to get through. But then in terms 3 and 4, there is a lot more travel and a lot more opportunities, and for them to go to London at the weekend or visit different locations. But yeah, you know, in Milton Keynes, there's theatres, there's lots of a very long indoor shopping centre. There is indoor skiing, there's cinemas, there's lots of restaurants, bars. So, you know, if somebody needs a little bit of entertainment, they don't have to go far to find it. Otherwise, if they want to enjoy a local pub, there's plenty around Cranfield as well that they can quickly get to, as well as the airport that we have on campus. One of the few universities that has its own airport. So we also know of some students over the years that have learned how to fly little planes while they were students. Don't know where they found the time, but they managed to do it. Right, this is our handsome students. And so I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, and then it really is open to everyone to ask us questions.
I do have questions at the Q&A box. So yeah, the first questions will be, is there any Gmat waiver if the applicants actually has more than 8 years of working experience? Will you be able to waive?
So the short answer is no, because actually at Cranfield, on the Cranfield MBA, the average work experience is 6 to 7. So there are actually a number of people that would have more than 8 years work experience. However, we do offer you the opportunity to take the Cranfield admission test, which is a 1-hour test, which we can now deliver online, and people can take it from their own home. It's completely free of charge. And it's just really a test where we analyze some numerical skills and problem solving. So if candidates don't want to sit the Gmat test, they can take our entrance test. It's really important to understand that these tests are really designed to allow us to assess whether the person can complete the program. Because, I have 12 plus years work experience, as you can tell by my wrinkles, my graying hair. I don't, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily at a level where I can complete some of the accounting or some of the financial, you know, or even, for example, when we were doing the entrepreneurship modules and we have to assess the value of a business, you know, there will be times where your maths is going to be coming really handy, and also problem solving is going to be really, really important. So it's just for us to assess your ability to complete the program and to make a contribution. As we heard, we complete a lot of assignments in the learning team. You don't want your learning team to say, hey, what do you know, why can't you contribute?
What sort of value are you bringing to the team?
Exactly, right? Because I'm sure Zu will say as well from her experience, you know, everybody needs to make a contribution because there's a lot of content to complete. So we don't want anybody to not bring enough to their learning team, and also we don't want for them to feel that then they're not able to complete the content. It is a big investment, and we appreciate the fact that candidates are making a big investment in their development. So we need to assess that they can complete.
Yes, totally agree. When I did my MBA, I was in the mid of my 20s. I still find it very struggle because I only have executive experience where most of my classmates are in senior manager. So the value that I can bring in is just so little compared to what they can actually give it to me. So it is very important to actually have sufficient working experience and certain level of maturity when you are joining an MBA program. I couldn't agree more. I have myself experience, and this is really important. I always tell my students, you know, having sufficient working experience and maturity before, apply for an MBA program. But I have a question about the English requirement because, Chris, you were showing 7.0 for IELTS. So will you be can you accept PTE? Because PTE is also quite popular in Malaysia.
Yes, that's the Pearson, right? Yes, correct. We do. Yes, we do. Cool. I'm happy to let you have by lay what the minimum score for PTE. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but yes, we do accept Pearson test of English.
Great. Another questions will be that's from my student who can't make it tonight about the COVID situations at Cranfield. How is it like at the moment? I think a lot of people are very concerned. I know UK, a lot of citizens or people who are residing in UK are actually been vaccinated, but just would like to know how about, in Cranfield? I doesn't want to know like the whole UK. Sure. I'm more concerned to the city that I'm going to.
Happy to explain. I mean, to be honest, we are really lucky, first of all, that it's a small campus and it's kind of in its own green bubble, as Zu was saying earlier. We are a little bit remote from the big cities, so it's easier for us to keep everybody safe. We have immediately implemented very strict protocols on campus to try and make sure that our students are kept safe. That we have reduced the amount of people in a classroom. We're really lucky that generally the average for a whole cohort is around 50 students. So to keep them apart so that there is, necessary distance between them. It has been easier for us than other universities where they are recruiting 500 students every time. So I've been to campus, faculty have also been carrying on teaching with visors, everyone wearing a mask. We have put in perspex dividers between desks so people can continue to study and being safe. And we have obviously delivered quite a lot of content online. There are testing facilities on campus for our students. And we have been very, very lucky that I think we've had maximum 3 people who have been infected with the virus throughout. So very, very safe. At the moment, I think we are 34 million people in UK have had both vaccines. So the program to make sure that by September, the huge majority of adults, if not all adults, will have had both vaccines. This is what I think the aim is. And therefore, we are about to relax in the end of July all restrictions for masks and distance and everything else, because despite the Delta variant, the majority of the population is in fact safe because of the fact that they have received a vaccine. The students,
Awesome.
when they will arrive, also have now entitled to a bursary. So please look on our website, because we will refund all of the costs associated with testing, and also should they have to quarantine in a hotel facility when they arrive, Cranfield is offering to cover those costs.
Yeah, I think one more thing to clarify with the audience is only countries who are in the red list need to be quarantined in a hotel. So currently, I think Malaysia and Indonesia is on the amber list, where you can actually self-isolate yourself on campus, but there's no extra cost. So that's the good news. So finger crossed.
That is the good news. Absolutely. Obviously, it's important to know this information, because we don't know, you know, how countries, hopefully everybody will move soon from amber to green. That's my, you know, everybody hopes that. But should there be any changes, I want to make sure that people are aware that should they incur any costs related to making sure they arrive on campus safe, and then, you know, and be safe throughout, Cranfield will cover those costs.
Awesome, that's awesome. So I have a question for Chris, and that questions I'll probably ask Zhu after that. So it will be, why should the attendees today, you know, comes to Cranfield instead of choosing other MBA programs? So, because there are so many MBA programs in town, right? So
there are many MBA programs. There are many MBA programs. Well, there are many. I will start talking figures, and then Zhu will add color, and I'm sure her own motivations for choosing Cranfield. There are many schools. For me, because I also completed the MBA program at Cranfield, the reassurance of having a triple accredited program is really important. We have just been ranked top 10 in the world for teaching power by the Financial Times, because that assesses the teaching power and the influence of what we teach on campus, what kind of influence it has globally in businesses and also in other business schools. And we've been ranked, I think we're 6th, but top 10 in the world, which then tells you that the content of what is taught on the program is really applicable. It is really important to me that it is a fully postgraduate university. So while people are studying their MBA, they are interacting with people that are also already on a certain level. And that obviously has an impact on the power of the alumni network, that the vast majority in that network are all people that have quite senior jobs. They're very successful. Not only is it global, but also if I have to ask for advice from anyone on the alumni network, I know that I'm going to get very high quality responses. Being a small campus as well is really important for safety, but also means that the friendships that are built are much stronger. Everybody knows, including staff. We know all of our students' first names. We know who they are. They know where we are whenever they need our support. Zhu, I'm sure, will confirm our door is always open and people come in at any time and we can have a chat or give support or whatever is required. And that makes a very customized, personable experience, which is then really important to a lot of people. And so you're not just a number, you are a person. We will remember you. We will remember you for years to come. And that, to be honest, that's really important. But also having faculty that have business experience. Zhu mentioned it earlier. It's really important to learn from experts in their field. And then lastly, the learning team environment. I learned a lot from the learning team. It made a huge difference at times when I was low and I was feeling that I couldn't complete something, to have a whole team that wanted me to bring my best to the table, to the conversation, to the assignment, really pushed me to develop my skills and my leadership capabilities to a level that I hadn't originally aimed for, and I hadn't originally expected to reach. So these are my motivations. Zoo, would you like to bring your own?
Yeah, so for me, I think the thing about Cranfield MBA is it's just so much more than just your core modules. It's so much more than going to class. Literally, the program is built because it's going to push you. Again, everyone is going to tell you term 1, term 2 is very hard. But then I've also had discussions where maybe term 3 and term 4 is not that difficult because you become so used to all of this pressure that now you can work under pressure really well. Term 1 is made so that you can manage your time, and it's made so that you can manage how you interact with other people under very huge amount of stress. And then basically the whole program, literally, it just wants you to be more self-aware. It wants to bring that leadership skill inside of you that you might not even know is there. But then eventually you're going to see how much, like I mentioned before, your voice can make such a huge change. And another thing is it's so diverse. So you're going to meet friends from all over the world. And my classmates are from Venezuela, from Brazil, from India, and we still catch up. We do Zoom calls as well. And it's been 3-4 years. We've gone to each other's weddings. So we had a friend who got married in Turkey during our course that we went to. And I think another thing is, as much as you invest into Cranfield invests in you just as much. So you're going to feel it from the careers team that they are going to want to know everything you do basically throughout the course, because they want to know, even if you get a small callback for an interview, even if you get invited to do an assessment test, they are going to be there for you just as they were there for me. So when I was going for interviews, I had mock interviews with them. They helped me tailor my CV and everything. Yeah, and then eventually once you graduate, you become an alumnus like me, and then now you join a huge group of network, and then throughout your life you'll always be a part of Cranfield. So it's not just 1 year, it's 1 year that's going to change your life.
Totally
Thank
agree.
you, Zoo.
Totally agree. Yeah, I just so agree. Couldn't agree more than that. Yeah, it's not, having an MBA is not just about having a paper qualification, but it's also the network that you get in your course. It's the type of people that you get to mingle with, your friends, and the support team behind at Cranfield that actually brings a lot of value. Sometimes not all university actually provides support, especially like what Zoo says. When you go for interview, they back you up, they look at CVs and all these things. Like if you go to some of the uni that is really huge, they don't have time for every single student. Trust me. And even though, yes, Cranfield maybe is not, it's in a small town, but you save a lot of cost of living. And being a mature student, you don't need that much of entertainment. Trust me. Like we have been in lockdown for the last 15 months. So, we kind of used to that sort of environment. Yes, if you want for a weekend out, to the city, it's just about, if you stay in KL like me, it's just about an hour stuck in the traffic to KL. So that is not that bad, getting into London or getting to Birmingham. It's not far away. It's just very, very near. By playing your Facebook or even reading a book, you're there. So, and then you can come back on the same day. So yeah. So, and also having friends across different country, that's the best thing. When you visit your friends, you can hang out with them. And they also give you, sometimes it's also connections that enable you to find a job in another places. Yeah, they give you insights of the countries, the cultures and everything. So that is also the beauty, of studying an MBA program and having friends from different walks of life, different country, different culture. When you get into workplace, it's easier for you to learn how to communicate better, especially when you are a leader. Yeah, because having an MBA, you won't be expecting, stay put in the executive level or, in the middle management. You are aiming high. So communication is key. And in the Cranfield, if you look at the course outline as shown by Chris, there's a lot of things that is very modern. That's very relevant to today. So that is very, very important. Look into your course structures. when you choose a master's program, because although the name is the same, but it's very different when it comes to content. So as a mature adult, we don't merely just go for the name, but we go for the content and what sort of subjects is offered, what sort of activity will enable us to get nearer to the employer. That's very important, especially when you want to be like Zoo, working away from home. Yeah, so that is very, very important. Yeah, I couldn't agree. So Chris, do you have any more things that you want to
I'd
summary?
I've forgotten to mention that we also now offering a mentoring program for our students. So we have talented alumni that are now offering the opportunity to our current students to be mentored throughout the program, which is an invaluable opportunity to be able to start connecting and networking with our talented international alumni who can provide career advice, who can provide advice on how to get the best from the program, and also the best out of themselves. So in addition to the executive coach, they also get a mentor. So as you said, and as Zeus said, it's about the whole experience. It isn't just the academic content, which we already know that is of the highest level, but is the combination of location, people, culture, international outlook, power and network. We say at Cranfield that if wherever you are in the world there's an alumnus or an alumni, you should never dine alone. And by that means I have traveled the world recruiting prospects, and whenever I go, I look on the database and I contact people, say I'm recruiting today, I'm going to be in Tokyo, is there anybody around to meet me for lunch or give me advice on where to have my lunch? And every single time I've been able to meet with our talented and inspirational alumni all around the world and met with them for lunch or dinner, and we've been able to catch up on what is happening at Cranfield or what's happening with a particular member of faculty, and then they share with me things about that are going on with their cohort because they're still in touch, or with their careers and personal life. We really do get to know our students very well, and from my side, it's beautiful for me to see the transformation from the moment they join us to when they leave, and you really do see that transformation, and for that I feel really privileged to do the work that I do.
All right. Is there anyone who would like to ask questions? Please leave your question on the Q&A box. Then we'll pick up the questions and ask Chris or Zhu. Yeah. Zhu, how long have you left Malaysia? Have you come back in between?
No, so I left in 2017. I did my MBA, and then after that I moved to Amsterdam. Then I've been in Amsterdam for 2 years now.
Right. Okay. Hope you stay at Amsterdam. Yeah. So is everything okay in Amsterdam now?
Yeah, so things are opening up. I just got my first shot as well. Yeah, but I know how things are happening back home. So I hope everyone back home is doing okay. And I miss Malaysia. I haven't been back, obviously, for the past 2 years. So yeah, I'm hoping I'll be able to go back soon as well to visit.
Yeah, hope you can come back soon. Our cases here are growing. So hope everyone in the attendee, stay safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please don't go out unless it's needed. We need to flatten the curve before we can actually safely travel. So I think there's no more questions. I don't see any more new questions coming in. So Lei Quan, do you have anything to top up before I end the sessions?
No, not really. Someone has shared some of the useful links in the chat box. Can everybody just go there and download, or maybe just take a screenshot?
Yeah, our counselor at AECC Malaysia and AECC Indonesia will be reaching out to you. If you need any support or any questions, we can always get back to you or respond to you. Lei Quan, actually based in Malaysia, we can always connect with Lei Quan during daytime for a one-to-one session for you to clarify more of your doubts and submit an application. So it's never too early to get yourself prepared for MBA program, because you do have Gmat to go for, and also IELTS or PTE tests and your resume. So it's never too early to ask more questions and get yourself prepped, you know, before you can submit an applications. Yeah. So if there's no more questions on the floor, then I'll be ending this webinar in 5 seconds. Thank you so much, Chris, Lei Quan,
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for your time and have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank
you so much. Thank you all the attendees. Good night. Yeah.
Good night.
And good morning. Have a nice morning. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.